And folks, we witnessed history. And here's what else we saw. Parents and children who watched every single one of your games together, sometimes driving 10 hours just to see you play. And then we've seen you take the time to talk to them, to laugh with them, to show millions of our daughters they can do anything as well. Anything. You know, in this team we saw hope, we saw pride, and we saw purpose. It matters. You know, it's been 51 years since all women and girls not only in sports, but in any sport.
Month of July by Friday. Now, the next round of SNAP payments will also begin on August 10th. The state of Texas will complete issuing SNAP benefits worth up to $1,700 for a month of July this week. Texas has a long window for issuing payments, lasting through the first 10 days in a month. Even the amount received depends on one family size. A single household will receive $281, and an 8-member household will receive $1,700. But on a federal level, some House representatives want to expand the number of food stamp recipients subject to work requirements and time-limited food benefits by raising the age of people covered by the rules to 65. Members are writing the bill against the backdrop of extraordinary uncertainty in the economy and inflation, including the cost of food is so high that the Federal Reserve is willing to risk a recession to slow the prices down. Economic disruptions are caused by the crisis in the robust labor market is expected to weaken in the months ahead. The past week, Democrats of the Department of Education announced that it will begin discharging student loan debts for borrowers who've been in repayment for 20 to 25 years under a one-time payment. Around 800,000 borrowers will benefit from this, and there will be $39 billion dropped. Joe Biden said the previous announcement is a one-time adjustment and will become an even more important lifeline for struggling borrowers than repayments start in September. The one-time payment adjustment the Education Department had counts certain months that were previously ineligible towards student loan forgiveness. But now, everybody, the Education Department announced a one-time payment adjustment for all direct loans and federally owned family education loans. Now, the adjustment to student loan accounts will go toward helping borrowers get closer to forgiveness under the income-driven plans. And after this adjustment, people should be getting stimulus payments because the one-time payment adjustment helps to reverse some of the damage caused by loan services that did not properly track deferments or steer borrowers to roughly 180,000 working poor households who claim the state's earned income tax credit on the 2021 state tax returns. The state earned income tax credit currently is worth 30% of the federal credit and provides recipients an average benefit of $700. The one-time $300 bump Lamont and other Democrat-controlled legislature approved for earned income tax credit recipients effectively raised the state credit temporarily to 42% of the tax benefit. But tax reform advocates have been pushing for years to make permanent a child tax credit and enhance earned income tax credit program. The governor has said he wants to reassess the state's fiscal health after much of the $3 billion in federal crisis relief Connecticut received last year has been exhausted. Over the weekend, buyers paid a $5 a gallon, or roughly $100 to fill the tank, and gas prices have doubled since Biden took office. JP Morgan analysts predict $6 a gallon by August, and experts warn this crisis will continue even after Biden's term ends because he's dismantling fossil fuel production. There are now 20 states plus Washington, D.C. with averages of $5 or above. The highest priced states remain California with a state average of $6.42 a gallon. 31% of the nation's 130,000 gas stations were already selling gas for more than $5 a gallon. There are stations and states where gas is cheaper. About 15% of stations nationwide still are selling gas for less than $4.50 a gallon. But even in May, states where gas is cheaper, such as Mississippi, lower average income can mean drivers have to work longer to fill up their tanks. Biden has fighting. New data has been released, and it's by the federal government. Nancy Pelosi has made an announcement on inflation. Millions of low-income households can expect to receive inflation relief checks very soon, and these payments will be automatically sent out for some, while others may have to take action to receive this assistance. And not only that, you guys want to be sure to continue to watch this video because it gets much more interesting. Now, we have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, and SSDI. Here's everything that I want you guys to know. Americans can expect to receive a letter from the IRS very soon on future relief checks. New details have also been released on tax credits and monthly stimulus payments. Over 1 million low-income households have currently qualified for a one-time $500 relief check, and taxpayers should expect their mail for some good news soon. Starting this week, the IRS is sending letters to more than 9 million individuals and families who appear to qualify for a variety of key tax benefits, but did not claim them by filing a 2021 federal income tax return. Many in this group may be eligible to claim some or all of the 2021 recovery rebate credit, the child tax credit, and the earned income tax credit, and other tax credits as well. The IRS Commissioner Chuck Reddick has also announced that the IRS wants to remind everybody that's potentially eligible for this payment that they may qualify for these valuable tax credits even if they are not required to file a tax return. They may still qualify for several important credits. We don't want to overlook these tax credits, and the letters will remind people of their potential eligibility. Until people claim these benefits without charge, the Free File tool is going to remain open for an extra month this year. Until November 17th, that is. The tool enables people whose incomes are $73,000 or less to file a return online for free. Individuals whose incomes are below $12,000 and couples whose incomes are below $25,000 may be able to file a tax return to claim the recovery rebate credit, which covers any stimulus payment amounts from 2021 that they may have missed and the child tax credit as well. In an effort to help families fight inflation, the New York governor has also announced last month that people in New York will receive an average payment primarily because millions of taxpayers have been waiting months or even more to receive the refund. While more than 90% of taxpayers filed returns electronically last year, roughly 17 million people sent the paper filings. The agency is processing more returns compared to a year ago and it continues to make substantial progress on the backlog. But the agency in March shared plans to hire 10,000 workers, starting with 5,000 new employees. Now, new changes will be made, everybody, to President Biden's economic agenda. Lawmakers are finally addressing the rising inflation rates. Democrats are trying to find a new way to send out more financial aid to Americans, and recurring stimulus checks may be passed. Nancy Pelosi said today that Democratic leaders will gauge the party's support for President Biden's proposed gas tax holiday, but stop short of endorsing the idea. This is suggesting a rare break between the Speaker and her White House ally on an issue that's threatening Democrats' prospects at the polls in November. Speaker Pelosi said in a statement, "We will see where the consensus lies on a path forward for the president's proposal in the House and the Senate, building on the strong bills to lower prices at the pump already passed by House Democrats, including the Consumer Price Gouging Prevention Act and the Lower Food and Fuel Cost Act." The statement represents an enthusiastic response from a Democratic leader who is typically supportive of the president's agenda and reflects the concerns of a number of Democrats on Capitol Hill that suspending the federal gas tax simply won't show up as a significant savings at the pump. Democratic Representative Neal, chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, told reporters the challenge on the gas tax is the savings really going to flow to the consumer, or is it going to be pocketed by the oil companies? And those are legitimate questions. Pelosi's legislative references were to a pair of bills designed to reduce gas prices. One by curbing price gouging and the other by promoting home-grown biofuels. Both have passed through the House this week, but still need to move to the Senate. Democratic leaders, everybody, had pursued those proposals in lieu of gas tax holidays, which Pelosi had rejected